The San Antonio Spurs have started their season 2-1. I like the sound of that, Spurs fans. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Our Spurs, who many wrote off before the season started, probably had them going 0-3 last week, started their season 2-1, and I'm excited about that. The Tank for Wemby fans might not be too happy, but I'm excited. I'm going to get to my version of a recap, a report card, plus my plays of the week and my players of the week later on in the video. While I'm doing so, drop a comment down below. What did you like about last week? What you didn't like? Hit that thumbs up if you like sports, fellow Spurs. Support a fellow Spurs fan and subscribe for more Spurs content. Let's just get into it. It is time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, that being said, it should be noted the Spurs defense struggled a lot of points last week, so there were some ugly points for our Spurs. They did go 3-1 though. Lost to the Hornets, got blown out by the Hornets 129-102. The Pacers beat them by 3, but man, we gave up a million points in the fourth quarter. The Spurs looked totally lost in the last few minutes of that game, and then probably the upset of the week for us at least. We beat the 76ers 114-105. But when we dig in deeper into the stats, how did our players do? Let's start off with the big man in the middle, Jakob Poeltl. Good week for Jakob. I know Joel Embiid went off. Whatever. Look, he's doing the Jakob things. 16 points per game, giving us almost 10 boards. I'd really like to see him average a double-double this year if he can. Gave us 3.3 assists, a great passer on our team. And out of those rebounds, those 9.7 Spurs fans, 4.3 offensive rebounds a game. I think his offensive rebounding sometimes overlooked by Spurs fans. He helps us so much in the middle, getting us second chance opportunities, maybe third chance opportunities. Is he the center of the future? I think if we have the right parts around him, he could be a part of this franchise for the next 5+ years and maybe get us to the promised land when we have that team complete around him. We'll see. Jeremy Sochan. You don't mess with the Sochan. Well, I'll say this. It was a good and bad week. I could rate it an ugly week based on his shooting was atrocious. Let's call it what it is. 27% from the field, missed every three-pointer that he took. Also couldn't hit his free throws. That being said, he is a 19-year-old rookie that a lot of us Spurs fans didn't think would be thrust right into the starting lineup. And the good thing on the Spurs, they are starting him, getting him out there. He's going to struggle, but I think he's got good instincts. He plays some good defense. It's just going to be a work in progress right now with his offense. Now, one question I have, Spurs fans, is Pop in the front office already starting to lose faith in Jeremy a little bit, as I noticed his minutes have consistently declined in his 3 games, going from 27 minutes against the Hornets to 21 minutes against the Pacers to only playing 10 minutes against the 76ers last night. Is he going to be a guy that starts, and depending on game flow or how he's playing, Pop's going to yank him immediately? Is he on a short leash? I don't know, but at the very least, I'm glad he's not in the G League and he's out there getting some quality minutes in. Next, our highest paid player. I don't know what the heck he's wearing there, but Keldon Johnson. He had a good week, and this is what I expected from Keldon Johnson. 21 points per game, about 7 boards, assists are up, playing a little defense, although he did struggle early in the week with defense like most of our Spurs. Could he be a 25 points per game per guy? I think he could. I think he's going to be the leading scorer, unless somebody else has something to say about that, who we'll get into in just a moment. But overall, this is what I expect from Keldon Johnson. He's doing what I expected, hitting threes, showing a little creativity in his shots. I like what I'm seeing. The guy who may contend for the top scorer on the Spurs, Devin Vassell. Overall, a good week. Now, he had an atrocious game against the Hornets, just an absolute nightmare. But he still finished the week averaging 18.7 points per game, hitting threes, creating shots. He could end up being our top scorer by the end of the year. I think it's going to be a battle between him and Keldon, and I could see both players averaging more than 20 points per game. But if both guys average more than 20 per game, this team is going to win a lot more games than people expected. I had them pegged for somewhere around 25 wins. I hope I'm wrong and they win 35, but 45. I mean, hey, whatever happens, I'm happy. I just hope this team goes out, plays their best, learns to play as a team. Our young players develop, and if we win some games along the way, I'm not going to complain about that. I know some of you don't want to see them win. I'll never root for my team to lose. And our starting point guard, Trey Jones. I thought he had a good week overall. He's a much better scorer than I anticipated, and kudos to him. He shot 40% from beyond the arc this week. If he can stay around that mark, teams are going to have to respect his three-point shot. I don't remember hearing if he worked on it a lot in the offseason. I'm sorry if I'm talking fast. I'm obviously excited to be doing a Spurs video when the Spurs season is here. But really surprised me with his offense. Now, one concern I do have is our starting point guard. He only averaged 3.3 assists per game. That is exceptionally low, and his assist-to-turnover ratio was not good at all, 3.3 to 2.3, when this guy averaged last year, 4? a 4-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Maybe it was 5-to-1. It was phenomenal coming off the bench. Is this going to be kind of our Spurs team where we don't really have one guy averaging 6, 7, 8 assists in the starting lineup? It's just kind of more of a team ball thing, which I'm fine. If they end up winning games that way, so be it. Last but not least, what I'll say about Trey Jones. Is he our starting point guard of the future? I think the jury is still out, but I am getting. Don't go nuts in the comments. TSR, you're crazy, but are we getting a little shades of Tony Parker with him? Taking it from coast to coast, full court, getting down the other end, smaller guy, getting the layup, scoring against bigger guys, getting to the rim. He's reminding me of Tony a little bit. And Tony, prime Tony, All-Star Tony Parker, was about an 18 points per game, 6 assists type of guy. Could Trey Jones develop into that? Possibly. Time will tell if he does. Then maybe he is our starting point guard of the future. I'll be rooting for him. As far as our bench, not bringing up the pictures for all the players. I don't have room in my OBS, if you will. But Joshua Primo, I thought he had a good and bad week. Of course, his shooting, much like Jeremy Sohan, was less than to be desired, shooting under 29% from the field. However, he did lead the team in assists at 5.3 assists per game. Is this kind of setting the stage? Could he be our future starting point guard? He's a much bigger player than Trey Jones, and I think he does have a higher ceiling. But does he have a higher ceiling at point guard? Time will tell. He was a little sloppy with the ball at times last week. Hopefully he can kind of clean up as the season progresses. Doug McDermott played limited minutes. I'm a little surprised he only played under 18 minutes per game. Is that kind of setting the stage, limited minutes to, kind of lessen the chance of an injury? Because the Spurs may look to move him before the trade deadline. I could see them moving him. He could be a very valuable asset to a team that needs three-point shooting. And if you look at his three-point shooting, Spurs fans, he shot 64% from beyond the arc last week. Holy macaroni. Jay Rich, Josh Richardson, also a good week and went absolutely off against the Pacers, having a Spurs career high of 27 points, just nailing threes. Josh Richardson, I think, is going to be another player that's going to be out there as trade bait before the All-Star break. I think the trade deadline's around the All-Star break. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I like what I'm seeing from him off the bench. Zach Collins, yeah, he had his ups and downs as well, but I'm going to give him good as well. He was our best shot blocker by far, averaging 2.3 blocks per game in only 13 minutes. I'm not sure what his role is moving forward. It seems like time's going to be kind of split between him, between Gorgui Dieng. Isaiah Roby's been kind of thrown into the mix too. We'll see moving forward if Zach Collins is going to be our backup center of the future. And last but not least, Keita Bates-Diop. Yeah, he only played 6 minutes per game. Really don't have a grade to assign because he played so little. But he was the only other bench player to play 3 games. So he came and did the KBD thing, shot well. Just been a very, very good role player for the Spurs. Appreciate KBD. The guys that aren't listed on here, Isaiah Roby didn't play much, 2 games, 11.5 minutes per game. That being said, took advantage of his minuscule opportunities. He did shoot 75% from the floor. Gorgui Dieng played 2 games, 10.5 minutes per game. He did average 3 assists per game in just 10 minutes. So he was a valuable asset passing the ball. Well, he didn't shoot very well. Definitely great passing it around. Romeo Langford had an appearance last week. 1 game, 9 minutes, 4 points. I think he's just going to be a player that comes in during garbage time. I don't think he's going to be a Spur next year. And then our 2 rookies, Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley, did not see any action on an NBA court. And I think that's where I'm just a little disappointed with maybe some of the vets getting more playing time. And I know the Spurs are trying to win, and maybe they don't feel Malachi Branham or Blake Wesley are ready yet. I hope to see them getting some minutes later in the season, especially if we do move on from Doug McDermott and or Josh Richardson. I definitely would see their minutes going up. Then again, where does Blake Wesley fit into the rotation? Is Trey Jones is our starting point guard and Primo's backing him up? How does he kind of slide into that? Or do the Spurs see Primo Wesley as our 1-2 punch at point guard in the future? We'll see. Let's get into my play of the week. My runner-up play of the week is from the season opener, Keldon Johnson, taking it, and then, get out of my way, and a thunder dunk of justice as he just blows by his defender. But that's my runner-up because this one play I thought was just the degree of difficulty I thought was off the charts. Devin Vassell on the break, 1-on-1, no 2-on, 1-on-2, 1-on-3. Get out of here and squeezes through 3 defenders. Whoops. 3 defenders. Let's show that again. Look at Devin here on the top, taking it down the court. Got 3 defenders around him, contorts his body, and still is able to make the layup. Devin Vassell, congratulations. That is my San Antonio Spurs play of the week. As far as my player of the week, the runner-up is going to be, man we just saw, Devin Vassell. Fantastic versus the Pacers and the 76ers. He's showing his ability to finish at the rim. He's showing a mid-range jumper, showing the three-point shot. He's showing us he can be a three-level scorer. He's really going to be in contention to lead this team in scoring with my player of the week, who is going to be Keldon Johnson. He led the team in scoring. I think we're going to see probably a lot of Keldon and Devin, and I think I didn't really feel this way going into the season, but what I'm seeing, we have two guys that can score in the paint, that can hit the three. They're young and can really be the foundation of this franchise. And if we put the right pieces around them sooner than later, we may have something very special developing with our San Antonio Spurs. Coming up next, we have the Timberwolves, then the Timberwolves, and then the Chicago Bulls. And it should be noted, next Sunday, I believe, we play the Timberwolves again. So we have the Wolves 3 times in our next 4 games. We're going to get a taste of that Rudy Gobert and Cat combo. The Spurs, if I remember correctly, have got... Didn't Cat score a career high against us? Did he drop 50-something last year, Karl-Anthony Towns? I feel like he went absolutely off against us. This could be a rough week. I don't have high expectations for this week. We are going to be undersized versus that Timberwolves team. And then, of course, we had the matchup against former teammate DeMar DeRozan and the Chicago Bulls, a former Spur. I'll be very interested to see what happens next week. I want to close with this, Spurs fans. While I'm not calling games right now, but obviously following the team, reading as much as I can about the team, and obviously doing a recap video. I think when the NBA Team Pass or League Pass, usually right before the All-Star break, kind of around mid-season, they do a half-off deal for the rest of the season. It'll be right in the smack of winter there, which means I'll be going a lot less and hanging out with friends a lot less because the weather's going to suck in New England. So I might call the second half of the season, and I'll do it whether the Spurs are good or bad or somewhere in the middle. But I think that's my plan. Right now I just don't have time, but as the season changes up in New England, I definitely I miss calling the games and hanging out with you guys. So it very likely could call the second half of the season if NBA's not charging $100 for just the second half of the season, which they probably won't. If the NBA does any League Pass free for a week things before then, I might call a game or two. Just to get I do miss calling the game. So that's all I got. Again, drop a comment down below your thought of the Spurs. For you guys that are on the tank for Wemby train, are you disappointed the Spurs are winning? Are you like, you know what, I'm a Spurs fan. My guys are going out there and playing hard and winning, and I'm proud of them. Because that's where I'm at. If the Spurs are bad and finish with a top draft pick, but the effort's there, fine, so be it. But I can't root for this team to lose. I can't. It's not in my heart. I'm ecstatic that Jakob, Keldon, Devin, and Trey averaged over 16 points per game last week, the 4 of them. If we can get this Jeremy Sochan's offense to come together throughout the season, get his rebounding up a little bit, I really hope he becomes, by the end of the season, kind of an 8-9 rebound. And if he can get us 8 or 9 points, fine. I'm not expecting the world out of him, but I think the tools are there, the instincts are there, the basketball IQ is there. He just doesn't quite have it fundamentally yet. But I think he'll get there. If he does, this team will be a force to be reckoned with. That's all I got, guys. Hopefully have a great week this week. Wolves, Wolves, Bulls. Oh, my. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, and as always, go Spurs, go!